Something someone shared with me a couple of days ago has been on my mind from an experience that she was having to one that I had a couple of years ago that dragged me through the feeling of the difference between spiraling when recognizing something is changing or finally seeing the truth. Hi, I'm Rena, spiritual alchemist and the host of the Awakening Soul Divinity podcast. I want you to know we have a choice. We always have a choice. And she had a weekend where something became very clear to her. And she said she couldn't tell if she was spiraling or if she was finally accepting the truth of something she had been trying not to see. How often do we do that? Just saying. And I noticed something in myself when I read that, and I could feel how heavy that moment is. And even trying to sit down and record this today, I could feel myself disconnect from it. It was like I was talking about something instead of actually being with it, which I'm still having a little bit of a challenge for that. And also because I haven't done one of these in a long time. So um, there's my human coming out right now with this, in that I don't know how this is going to look. And at this point, this is just something I get to do and come back to because I love doing these things. The first couple of times, forget it. Anyway, so I'm just going to slow this down a little bit and stay with what feels real. I'm doing my best with what I got in the moment. And in this, the truth is arising. Because when something becomes clear like that, it doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like sadness. Sometimes it feels like something just dropped in your system that you can't push away anymore. And especially for empaths and highly sensitive people, that doesn't just stay in the mind. You feel it everywhere in the body. There was a moment for me where something became very clear, and it had to do with someone very close to me that I loved very much. It was around my granddaughter being born and how I found out about her. There was a conversation that happened, and something about it just didn't sit right in my body. And as I sat with it, I started to see something more clearly, not just about that moment, but about a pattern that I have been carrying for a long time, probably most of my life. And I remember feeling that same question come up in me. Am I overreacting? Am I making this bigger than it is? Or am I finally seeing something I haven't wanted to fully see? And as much as I could feel the pull to soften it, to explain it away, to keep the relationship the way it had been, there was another part of me that knew I couldn't do this time. The truth had become clear enough that I couldn't move around it anymore. I had to face it. And I made a choice in that moment to step back from the relationship. And that wasn't easy. It still isn't easy. There was a lot of emotion in that. There was grief, there was questioning, there was loss, there was sadness, all of it came up. And again, it still comes up. There were even moments where I went back and forth inside myself. Should I go back? Should I not? Should I keep my boundaries? Should I check in? These things happen a lot. And so I'm kind of holding that space for myself because I still don't know what direction to go in with that. And I don't know, how well I would be received either at this point. But it was also the first time I didn't override what I was seeing. The first time I didn't tell myself it was okay just to keep something in place, just to keep the peace, whatever that was that I learned, it wasn't working that way for me. So I let the truth be what it was, even though it was uncomfortable. And this is usually where people start questioning themselves. This is important when it comes to how we live our lives as humans and how we figure out what direction to go in and not just give up and stay in the same place. These questions are like, why am I still here if I can see this? Why is this happening to me again? Why does this still feel hard? And it can look like self sabotage, but a lot of the time it's something in us that's still adjusting, something that learned a different way of being for a long time. And now it's shifting. And there are always parts of us we don't fully see. We can't. That's part of being human. Sometimes it takes someone else reflecting back to us for it to really land, which means that my blind spot is your opportunity to show me where I am not living my truth. And so when that question comes up, am I spiraling or am I finally seeing the truth? Sometimes what's happening is something inside of you just became honest. And honesty can feel heavy before it feels clear.